Hi, everyone. Hey, welcome to another episode of Unleash Her. I'm Roberta, and I'm your host for the podcast today. And I am so excited to share with you my very special guest today, Ryan Grubb. Hi, Ryan. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm doing well, Roberta. Nice to see you.
Good. Good to see you too. Thank you so much for joining me
Sure,
today.
sure.
This podcast is all about confidence and authenticity. And I love it because you're so authentic and I love that about you. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm about 7 feet tall. See, I'm lying already. See this? No, no. On a serious note, I'm no. Hey, I'm a mental health therapist. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I live in Waynesboro, Virginia. If you guys don't know where that is, it's in the middle of nowhere in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's pretty cool. It sits
Okay.
actually in the valley. So actually, when you wake up, you look up and you see the mountains above you. So it's kind of cool.
Mm.
And I've been married for 23 years. Yes, she stayed with me 23 years. That's pretty scary. And I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old daughter. 20-year-old is in Boston. If you look behind me, you see the Celtics stuff. Go Celtics! 18.
Yes.
And 18 of those championships now. Sorry, LA. Love you, but I don't. And so I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm also a consultant and a coach. I work in the athletic and entrepreneurial field, trying to help people rebrand themselves so they can actually increase revenues and change culture and stop grinding their life away. So we talk about self-image and we talk about mindset mechanics and we talk about what real marketing is and what conversational selling is and all those kind of things. So yeah, so I do those two things, and in my spare time, I like to, wrestle alligators and hunt lions, and I don't do that. I like to work out a lot. I like to bike. I like to watch basketball sports. Watching the Euro Championships right now. I'm a big soccer guy. It's been fun to watch that. So, and I coach. I coach high school varsity men's and women's soccer. So that's an interesting sport there for those Americans who want to call football the one with the iron, the gridiron. It's not the same. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Hey, I love that. And we were talking before the call that I've been to a Boston Celtics game. And the other night, I just went to the FC Cincinnati game.
FC Cincinnati. They got a pretty good following.
Yeah.
I like the teams
Okay.
out there in
It was
Cincinnati.
only it was only 100 degrees, I think, that night.
That's it, just 100, huh? Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you weren't in Bali or Indonesia. It would have been 120. I mean, yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
So how
But it
was it?
was
How was the game? I mean, did
it
you
was
enjoy the game?
it was good.
You a
We
soccer
did
fan?
I love watching my kids play soccer.
You're a soccer fan then. You're a soccer mom. That's
Okay, yes.
awesome. Good job.
Yes. Okay, so I love this whole like authentic self and how how you help people rebrand themselves. Okay. So, I mean, have you always been so confident and outgoing and know what you want and
That's a good question. So let's rewind the tape, bring the fishing
okay.
rod out, reel it in. Okay.
Mhm.
So as we all know, when you are a teenager, you are overhyped, right? Or you're over pleasing, or you're trying to
Mhm.
perform a whole lot more than you do when you're older. So was I always confident? I think I was actually in like 12, 13, 14 years old, but then I had some, let's just say, family engagements, and I won't go into any more of those details, that kind of slowed down my process, meaning relationships with certain people in my family, like mom and aunt and a couple other people that kind of tried to control my essence. So I started to lose that confidence. And so then by the time I was 16 or 17, I was always overcompensating. So I was always doing more or I was working harder. And by the time I got to be about 27, 28, I was burned out. I went to actually inpatient for psychiatric help. And nobody knows that because I almost died and I never told anybody. And, it was crazy. And I was taking drugs and medication and I was drinking. All those things you're not supposed to do together that they talk
Yeah.
about, that you see. And now I'm a therapist. Isn't that funny? So I think I was pretty confident, but I think some of it was fake. And I think some of it was imposter based because I was trying to be somebody I wasn't, but I didn't know how to not to be. So I did everything I could. I impressed the girls. I impressed the girls. I impressed the girls. Oh, I said that 3 times. I did sports really, really hard. So I would coach really, really hard. I coached travel soccer when I was younger. And it was came across like I was mad. And so over time I had to learn how to change that. And it's taken a lot of work. But I found my groove finally, 25 years later. So I think I was confident pretty much in certain things, but then there were certain things I was like, let me just lay this on thick. Let me make myself look better than I am. And so yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
Do you think, okay, so tell people a little bit about your um special gift that you were born with.
Ah, the gift. Yes.
Should we call it the gift?
I talk an awful lot. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the gift. So, what I want to do here is no, I'm not going to do a magic trick. I don't do tricks. But I want to show you something because I don't think Roberta's seen this. But see, this is this. See that? So I got the
Yeah.
tattoo on the left hand, and this is this. I was
Can
pointing.
I take a picture?
Yeah, you can take a picture. It only costs a couple
Okay.
dollars.
Okay, hold on. As we do this, I'm taking a photo.
Say cheese. Cheese. Say cheese.
Okay.
All right.
All right, thank
All
you.
right. So this. Okay.
Okay.
So this is, yes, this is really my hand.
Mhm.
Yes, this is really part of my body. Yes. And a lot of people that have this sometimes don't have this. They have a nub or they have part of a hand. And it comes from what people don't understand is a chromosome deficiency. So when I was born, this wasn't even there. It was like this. And then this had a bone in it. So I had no movement of this particular piece. And they
Wow.
weren't sure whether I was going to be able to use it or not, or they're going to have to cut it off, or they're going to have to do something. So they did 3 surgeries before I was 3 months old. So I didn't, I mean, I don't remember it. I was 3 months
Yeah.
old, but your little baby, you come out of the womb and then you go and you have surgery. So there's a lot of trauma here. So, and trauma starts inside the womb. So if you're in the womb of a woman and somebody's yelling and screaming and drinking and cussing, you can hear that. Okay? It's scientific because you are born, you are
Yeah.
alive in the body. So when I had the surgery, I guess I was trauma, right? And so they took the bone out and gave me use. And this is my pointer and my ring finger. It's not my thumb and my pinky.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, I played the drums when I was younger. Okay. My mom got me a trombone and she put an extension on it, and I played the trombone. And I played basketball. That ball behind you is a ball signed by one of my favorite all time players in college basketball. I used to go to camp there. Used to win free throw shooting contests. It was fun. Used to practice all day long with the ball. I used to bounce it. I used to go out and it's June 25th, 6th, something like that. I
Oh
used
my
to go out
God.
in this heat all day long, like and play at the park and learn how to play. And so then I played competitive basketball when I was 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And so, but then my love was soccer, so I went to soccer. So yeah, so that's my hand. Yeah, so um, it's not for sale, by the way.
Yes, I hope you don't mind that I
No,
did.
no,
Okay.
I'm really mad. I'm angry. I'm gonna sue.
Don't you think that that is what it's like your special powers, isn't
It
it?
is. It is. As a matter of fact, it's what the kids love. Like they
Yeah.
come into my office, like the 12, 13-year-olds are like, that's so flaw. And I
Yeah.
go, yes, it is. And if you don't,
Yeah.
you'll be in trouble. I'm just kidding. I say it.
Was there a time, in your life that that it was aggravating to you and you're
Sorry, I cut you.
it's okay. It's okay.
It's aggravating or made me upset. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in middle school's brutal, right?
Okay.
So
Mhm.
in middle school, I left. We lived in DC until I was in Maryland, DC area right there. In
Yep.
6th grade, and I had like all my friends, and I had all this going on, and it was great. My dad says, "Oh, we're gonna move to Memphis." I'm like, Memphis? Where's that at? Is that in like Jamaica or something? I don't know where that is. So We moved to Memphis and everything changed. I didn't see a black person for the first like 6 months. I didn't know anybody. And so I went to school and, it was brutal. It was hard. It was like, I mean, people didn't really say anything directly to my face, but you could see it. Right? Like, oh, there's the weirdo. And so, yeah, it was like middle school. And, do girls like me? Or are they offended by what I'm, and does it scare them? And I think what happened as I got older is adults were more scared of me than kids, which is sad, which was really
Yeah.
sad to me. I'm going to be transparent here. It's sad because what it represents to me is it's ignorance. And so ignorance is the opposite of authenticity. It's not bliss at all. It has nothing to do with being smart. Ignorance is not about smartness. It's about awareness, authenticity, and genuineness. So yeah, that was probably the hardest time. So I
Yeah.
did more work during that time. I would work harder to make sure people knew I didn't really have it.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah, absolutely. What were did you have definite dreams or goals back then?
I actually wanted to play I wanted to play college basketball when I was like sixth grade. I wanted to play for the University of Maryland. Like, that's a ball behind me. It's signed by. And the
Yeah.
guy who signed it, his name is Len Bias. He actually was drafted by Boston when I was 12, and then he died of a cocaine overdose
Oh.
before he ever played a game for the Celtics. So the reason I love the Celtics so much is because I got to meet the Boston Celtics in 1986 at the University of Maryland. They came to the camp to do a memorial in his honor because we were there. We came a week after he died. And so, because he was such a valuable part of their team already, they all came to camp and they literally did a memorial in the field house. Jesse Jackson was there, Ronald Reagan was there, Brett Auerbach was the architect of the Boston Celtics for years, Larry Bird, Danny Ainge, Kevin McHale, all these guys. I was like, so that's how I became this big Boston fan. But yeah, that's a little bit. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to be a actor. I wanted to act. I wanted to be. I don't know.
No way.
You believe that?
Yeah, I do.
I wanted to do a lot. I wanted to play. I wanted to play in the World Cup. I wanted to be. You know, Pelé nut. I saw Pelé play when I was 7 at in Washington D.C. I saw him play for the New York Cosmos after he left Brazil and came over to the States. And I got to see him play. I got to see Dr. J play. I got to see. I've seen so many things in my life. So that was my dream. I was going to be a sports guy or an actor. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, that's what everybody wants." No, some people want to be a fireman or a police. I don't want any of that. I don't want to be a fireman, a policeman. I wanted to dance, and I wanted to get the girl, and I wanted to, you know,
Yeah.
that was my dreams. It wasn't to be a good citizen, an outstanding citizen. That's for sure. It's just to have fun.
So how did the counselor come about?
How much time you got? We have another podcast. We have another podcast except for that one. This is going to be way too no. So in 1998, I became a Christian, and when I mean became a Christian, and I say this very respectfully to people, I learned about God. I learned about Jesus the right way. I grew up not really knowing him. I went to church on Easter and Christmas. My parents would disagree with you. I would disagree with them. We just went. We hung out. The church scared me. They were people. I didn't like it. They didn't like me being loud. So when I was 1998, I became a Christian, and I just was like, wow, I could go in. This is cool. I get to work with people. I could be in the ministry. So I went into ministry. About a month later, I was full time in the ministry, being paid. And so I led this teen ministry, and I built it. And then I led this campus ministry, and I built it. And then I got married. I moved to Memphis. Isn't this funny? I moved back to Memphis, where I went to high school, where I raised all. I'm going to say it's hell. I mean, I was a hellion. I mean, I had fake IDs. I had marijuana in my car. Next thing you know, I'm a Christian. I'm back in Memphis leading the church.
Oh my gosh.
So I walk down the street one day and I see a friend of mine, and he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I go, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm in the ministry." He goes, "No, you're not. You're not in the ministry, dude. Are you smoking again? Like, do you have marijuana at your church?" I mean, it was so funny. And he's a good friend of mine now, but he wouldn't come to church because he didn't believe me. He just didn't believe me. So from that, years I spent in the ministry and serving and counseling and things like that led me to And when I came out of the ministry, I was like, I don't, and I was in and out several times, different roles. I was like, I went to work in corporate America for like 3 months and got fired. Because I'm like, I'm not listening to people bark orders at me and yell and scream at me. I'm like, who are you? Like, what? So they fired me. And so I came home and my wife's like, hey, why don't you go to school and get your counseling degree? I was like, all right, I'll do it. And it took me 6 years because she got sick.
Yeah.
She had cancer and she almost died. And she's alive now. She's cancer free. But so that's how I kind of got into the counseling field. And if you add everything else in, like the consulting and coaching, I did all kinds of things like I did. I've done Bob Proctor results, which is a business training. I've done I'm a master practitioner in EFT and tapping, the whole do this. And I trained under Robert Smith for tactics. I am linguistics. I'm trained in linguistics. I'm trained in a little bit of hypnosis. So all those things, I was like, oh, I have a lot of skills. Why don't you? So I went back to school and got the degree, and here I am. And I just passed my licensure board like a month ago.
Oh my gosh.
So it took me about
Congratulations.
6 years. Thank you. It took me about 6 years to do it. I am 52 years old. Don't believe the hype. I look better than that. I know too. But I mean, I'm just being funny because we was like, oh, I can't go back to school. I can't go back to school. Okay. Yeah, you can. You just have to do it, and you got to figure it out. So that's my authentic story. That's how I got.
Yeah. And I think it means it's like because you went through all of those things and experienced that, it makes you so much more, I don't know if powerful is the word, but able to help others because you've been through that.
Maybe relatable,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
understanding. I mean, I have a
Yeah.
lot of clients now. I have a couple. I have one client. She's about to lose her husband. He's probably going to die, and he has all kinds of cancer stuff all over his body. And so she comes and sees me, and she's seen me for almost 2 years, and he's been going through it. So it does make it more applicable. I don't think therapy school does anything for anybody, and I'll tell any therapist that. Too many people go to school and get their little clinical degree, and they can't talk to
Mhm.
the wall. And I'm like, you're in the wrong business. Go be a computer programmer. Oh, that's very harsh. I go, no, that's just you don't try to make.
Sometimes, sometimes we just have to hear the truth.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a little bit probably too raw sometimes, so I have to kind of be nice, you know. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
You can't handle the truth.
You can handle the truth. All right.
Do you have your own podcast?
I do not. I used to have I started a podcast called the RG Podcast, Thinking Reinvented, and I never did it. I've started a lot of things, and they haven't really worked out. I have not done my own podcast, but I probably should.
Mhm.
I need to find another 4 or 5 hours in the day, so you can move the hours to 29. That'd be great, and I'll be
Yeah.
set. But I don't. I really don't. I need to jump on more podcasts, do more trainings for value. But I can do that first, and then probably start.
Yeah. Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, you're such a good communicator and yeah, that's we just got to know each other. We're like, okay, yeah. So what is your so where do you so now what's your goals? So before you wanted to be the professional basketball, soccer player, movie star.
Dreamer, schemer, coffee and creamer.
Yeah.
Sorry, no. So I think one of the things I would like to do is brand. I have a program called the Paradigm Project that I do in my coaching. The Paradigm Project is a three-step process: design, develop, produce, and it's to enhance the entrepreneur, enhance the athlete, enhance people that are involved with athletes, but brand that idea of self-image with that mode, because let's just be real, athletics is all about winning and losing, and
It's all
that's
about what?
winning and losing.
Yeah.
And so we forget, and people don't admit this, coaches don't admit it, athletic directors don't admit it, staffs don't admit it, fans definitely don't, that there is a person playing this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So you
Yeah.
go to a basketball game,
Yeah.
and this has happened many times. There's a heckler on the side, and he's cussing out the player because the guy's got $60 million on the line because he went to Vegas and he put it on the ponies or whatever. Well, that's not my problem, and that's not the player's problem. That's
Yeah.
your problem. And so
Yes.
what happens is the
Mhm.
image is tarnished. It's all about me. It's all about my money. It's all about this. And then the player says, "Well, screw y'all. I'm gonna get mine. So I'm gonna worry about my contracts." And we get
Mhm.
all mad at the player. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're buying the merchandise. I have the merchandise on. You know what? So it's self-image. It's image. It's coaching. It's teaching coaches how to have image awareness. It's teaching players how to come off a field and be the same on the field.
Yeah.
Right? It's a challenging thing. So that's what I would like to really be remembered for. Like that's to speak on this idea to do whatever, speak, workshops, work with athletes. I have a couple partners who are retired NBA players, and we're working on two projects. One is a coaching the coaches project. It's actually started in Ireland, in the semi-pro league in Ireland. People in Ireland, they don't want to play basketball. It doesn't matter. The guy started the program. I don't care. So, and it's not about basketball, it's about transformational process. So we want to take transformational process, and we want to plug it into academies and training groups and teams and division twos and we'll find the people that really want to do it and want to pay the money. And we'll help them understand behavior. So it's like counseling on steroids,
Yeah.
right? Instead of we don't diagnose. We just do coaching, mental wellness, transformational wellness. So that's what I like to do. I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't know where that's going to
Mhm.
go. I mean, I have
Mhm.
a book I've written. I need to publish another one called Excavation Tales of a Pagan Christian. So, 250-page kind of a memoir on my trip from before Christianity, during the ministry, the do's and don'ts of the ministry, the secrets of the ministry. So I guess I don't know. I just want to, I guess, brand myself. I guess that's what you would say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
have my
Yeah.
wife alive for as long as she
Yeah.
can be alive, so I can love
Mhm.
her and travel with her and
Yeah.
watch my kids do well. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I don't think I have a huge dream of like, American Idol. Although my friend Elliot Yamin did. I don't know if you know who Elliot Yamin is, but
No.
been on the third. He was on the third or fourth episode of American Idol in the early 2000s. You ever heard that song? Baby, I will wait for you. That's him. That's
You're
him.
the first one to sing. You're the first one to sing on one of my podcasts.
I can't sing that well. Of time. He'd be proud. If it takes the rest of my life. That's him. So, yeah, so it's a cool dude. So, anyway, yeah, there you go. I don't know if that answered your question.
See, I love that. Why does it take some people longer than others, like, to figure out who their authentic self?
Programs.
Uh-huh.
So, a program, right? You know this.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I'll tell the viewers. So, people like program, you talking about TV? No, I'm talking about your program. I'm talking about the
Mhm.
imprint you have on your brain and your mind. So, you grow up, is it from 2 to 6? People get imprinted the most. They hear yelling or screaming or love or whatever, and that's what they learn. If they have love and screaming, it's called chaos. They don't know what to do. So a lot of people become traumatized, and then they hear messages in community and society that says, "This is just who you're going to be. You're going to be this person. You're never going to be different." And then you go back to trauma. You go, "You're never going to amount to anything." Oh, I just heard that over here. Oh, that means that's what's going to happen. So I'm good. So I'm going to stay where I am and go to my little dumpy job and never dream and never get bold, never try anything, and never go on camera. Although I want to be a coach, you know,
Yeah.
or talk to anybody, but I want to be in, journalism, right? So
Right.
that's kind of what happens. And then some of it is not, most of it's not our fault.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's okay, and that's exactly. That's perfect. And that's why I started this podcast was because I was like, I have got to get more comfortable speaking with people, getting out of my comfort zone and just do it.
Like just go there.
What are we waiting for?
Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Why do we wait? Why do we wait until we hit a certain age, we end up getting sick, or there's something trauma in our lives, and then we wake up, or
Right.
midlife crisis, they want to call it.
Well, I mean, I'll be real with you. I mean, I think sometimes those types of things have to happen for
Mhm,
somebody to get real. I
mhm.
mean, I don't think I was not real. I think I had a lot of misery for years because of the abuse I got when I was a kid, like the comments I would hear from people that are close to me that I had to work through because of their inadequate, health, mental health. And back in the '70s and '80s, nobody said you need to go to counseling. They didn't talk about counselors back then. It was like
Yeah.
go drink a Miller Lite or take a Quaalude or go put your boots on and go outside and work in the yard,
Mhm.
which is helpful. I'm not saying
Yeah.
it's wrong. Not the Quaaludes, the yard.
Yeah. Right, right, right.
Let me share that with the counselor said Quaaludes are great. Bobby, I saw this podcast.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
Wait a
called
minute.
Betty Lou over in Sacramento, California, ready to kill me. Anyway, so
Yeah.
but I don't remember where I was. I was on a tangent there. Sorry. But I think it's just
What?
it's programmed. It's
Mhm,
and then we learn it and we imprint it
mhm,
and we carry it until we decide, or we decide several times during our lives. I remember when I was 12. My dad died when I was 2, and my mom remarried when I was 3.5. So I had the surgeries, the trauma, the death of my dad, and then she remarried, which my stepfather's amazing. I'm going to see him this weekend. But my mom never dealt with her own stuff, so she took it out on me. I looked just like my
mhm,
father. I mean, I looked
mhm,
just like my dad, like identical. So every time she saw me, she's like blank, like. And so she would just cuss me. She would rant me, and if I didn't do good enough, she's
mhm,
like, "You do better," and I'm like, so finally, I said at 16, I said, okay, I'll do better. Screw you. And I'm going to go get drunk every night. And I'm
mhm,
going to go have sex every night. And I'm saying this so people can hear it when they have
mhm.
kids. If you don't treat your children properly, they will end up in a place you don't want them to be. And so that all happened. And so that print was there. And I had to really dig out. It took me a long time.
Yeah.
But I knew who I was. I just didn't know how to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't. They don't have coaching. They don't have consulting. They don't have. It's like business work. People say, "Oh, I'm a business owner." No, you're a person first. Then you're a business owner. If your personal mess is messed up, you can forget your business. I tried it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. This isn't the movies. This isn't Goodfellas. This isn't the mob. Trust me, their personal lives are messed up, and so were their businesses. They all die at the end. So anyway,
Right.
so yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
tangent.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, that's so true. And so we end up, where we live and who we surround ourselves with and our friends, and we become those people and we are programmed and until we decide to do something different.
Right? Until we decide to do something different, or we have a tragedy
Yeah.
or something. I mean, again, I wasn't not different. When my wife got sick, I was like, oh, she might die. She could die. Like she was going to die. I thought she was
Yeah.
because it went from her mouth to her lungs, I mean, to her throat to her lungs. Which,
Like just within the last few years.
like from
Okay.
2017 to about 2022,
Yeah.
one, she had 6 teeth taken out. She had a prosthetic put in. Couldn't tell.
Mhm.
She had 60 lymph nodes taken out, so her immune system just went shot. Then it spread into she had 2 nodules in her lungs, and that's when we did immunotherapy at the University of Virginia. I give props to them for the work they did on immunotherapy. They've created, I think they're one of the creators of immunotherapy at that hospital, and that knocked it out. And so for the last 2.5 years, she's been cancer free. We had a biopsy. She's had 11 biopsies. She's had 10 MRIs. She's had 4 surgeries. Um, and then she has to deal with me. Are you crazy? I mean, like, think about that. Like, and then she has kids and she has 2 daughters, and then she has one in college, and she leaves in the middle of her cancer. The other one gets sick with celiac, has a cyst surgery in the middle of all this. all of that was going on while I was trying to finish my degree, finish my licensure. We had to move. We almost lost our home. That's when we moved. We moved from this 4,500 square foot home to a 2,200 square foot home, sold everything, paid off our cars, paid off our credit cards, moved into a 1-story house, 1 air conditioner, 1 heater. Trust me, it's financially better. And, and there we are. And a partridge in a pear tree. So we have like a 0.2 of acres now versus 4.5, but life is a lot better.
Right?
Life is a lot better.
Isn't that something? I said, I had the 5 acres, not really the white picket fence, but, kind
I
of.
didn't have a picket fence either.
Right. Yeah.
I had a
Didn't
bunch of
have it, but
trees.
it draws,
I had a bunch of trees and deers running around and some bears, and that's what I
yeah,
had.
it draws a picture for you. It paints a picture for you. So,
It
it's
does.
interesting,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize. I didn't know.
Mm-mm.
I didn't know what I didn't know.
No, you didn't know, and that's part of it. Some people they get these programs, and some of it they just don't know, and so they have to train themselves when they have an opportunity. In 2020, when COVID hit, I almost died of Lyme and mono, and I started studying Bob Proctor at this time. I couldn't even leave the house. I was doing some work. I couldn't even work. I almost died. I couldn't even walk. So I started studying. The first thing I saw was Napoleon Hill, and I watched this little video, and he was like, "How do you do?" And I'm like, "Who is this guy? Like, this looks like some satanic ritual." And I started watching it, and I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, this dude has got it figured out." Like, I started watching Napoleon Hill. Then I got the book, Think and Grow Rich. And I went Bob Proctor. I was like, "Wow!" I was like, and nothing changed yet. The circumstances had stayed the same, but I went and got in it, and I was like, I don't know what the heck's going on here. I need to learn this stuff. I am not in the energetic mood to do it, but I have to figure it out. So I just went for it, and I was so exhausted. I mean, I almost died. I couldn't even. And then my wife had cancer at the same time. It's like what's his name? Jordan Peterson. It's like Jordan Peterson. He was sick. He almost died of cancer. He almost died, and his wife had cancer. They almost died all at the same time. I'm like, I got to meet this guy, JP. I got to meet him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I say hi to him. But that's what happened.
Wow. Yeah, we started about the same time
Oh, really?
with Bob Proctor. I
Yeah.
started in 21.
Oh, I think you were in the group. Were you in the coaching program?
Yeah, I was in not TIR,
But just
but
coaching, just in the Bob.
yeah.
Yeah, I was in that. That's how I started. I bet you we met each other. I bet
I
you we
know.
met across. I was like all over the place. I had
Oh,
yeah, and then I did TIR with Alpha Pandia. So
I
TIR.
would I was so blown away. I had never heard any of those things before.
No, and most people don't because it's
Yeah.
not in the mainstream media. They don't want it
Yeah.
in the mainstream media. I'll say it.
Mm.
Joe Rogan wants it in the mainstream media, but nobody else does.
Yeah,
And I
right.
mean, Joe Rogan will print Bob Proctor's book and hand it out to you because it's about
Yeah.
truth. Like, what does it really mean to think for yourself? And it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter what political party you're not going to get into that because I don't pick or choose. It's about the human mind being able to think.
Yeah.
That's dangerous to a lot of people. They don't want that.
It's still, do you still like even all the time, constantly? I find this awareness and I'm like, oh, just like a week or two ago, it was like, oh my gosh, why did I react like that? I took it personally. I took it personally because of this old programming. So we still go back,
We do. We
but
do.
but when you're aware of it, then you're like, oh,
When you're aware of it, that's the first step. I was talking to a
yeah,
client this morning.
yeah,
Then what you do with that awareness is
uh-huh,
is the catalyst. So if you don't step right and go, like sometimes when somebody says something, I'll go, that is really interesting. And before I would go, in the hell are you talking about? Like it's night and day because I'm not reacting, I'm responding. I'm
yeah,
not always perfect. There's sometimes I'm driving down the road and people are like,
right,
I'm just gonna hang out in the left lane for like the next 25 miles and go 50 miles an hour in an 80
yeah,
or 75, 70, excuse me, 80
I
is
know.
the high speed, 70 is the speed limit, sorry. And I'm like, can you just get and finally I just pull up next to someone and go, hi. Like I want to like, ah! So
It's our old, yes.
right. It's what you do with it. So it's what you apply. Do you reframe it?
Mhm.
Do you switch it? Do you opposite it? Do you know how to do that? And a lot of people I work with, business owners, athletes, they don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their stuff. They're going full tilt. They're da 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 da. I need to get where I'm going. I need to get. You're not getting there,
Yeah.
and until they wake up and see it. So
Yeah. Yeah. And having, do you, having the mentors and having the people that you can talk to. And, we had accountability partners and masterminds. And did you have all of those
I
things? Do you
did. I
still
did.
have all of those
I did. I
things?
don't have a mastermind right now. I'm not in a mastermind, but I do have mentors. I have. I don't know if you know who Dana Silvestri is, but he's my coach. He is a TIR consultant. He went out on his own, and he's done fantastic. You see him all over LinkedIn and Facebook.
Uh-huh.
He's my
Yes.
coach. He is. I paid him a considerable amount of money to help me, and he's
Hmm.
been helping me with posting. I have a friend of mine not in the Bob Proctor program, but he works in Atlanta. He has a program called Power of the Dream, and it's his name is Kit Cummings. He works with gangsters in the prison systems, and he's won the Selma, Alabama Martin Luther King Award. So he's one of my mentors. If I have a problem, I just go, hey, let me call him. And so yeah, so the mentors you have, people that you can just
Hmm.
talk to, run stuff by, just engage, acknowledge. And by the way, I have a therapist. I'm a therapist. So to all you therapists out there that don't have a therapist, I think you should have one, at
Hmm.
least on retainer. Why? Because you're a human being too.
Yeah.
The question marks are in your head too.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it's um
Yeah. Yeah. Because we are here for growth and expansion. And the rest of my life, I hope to learn and continue to grow and become a better person. That's
well yeah,
just,
and that's a true statement because um at one point in my life I'm like, oh I'm good. Like not necessarily that I got it figured
yeah.
out. I do have
Mhm.
it figured out. And that's probably in my early 20s. But some people carry that ego and never, and it's fear.
Mhm.
Because if they step out of that ego, then they have to find out what's on the other side. And they don't know what it is. They go, well, I don't know what's on the other side. I said, well, if you don't go there, you're never going to find out anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. So I want to tell you how, so last summer, I spent there was this one day I was on the phone with two of my friends and from, personal development, and they were helping me, trying to teach me to learn the chat GPT, AI, all this new stuff. So
Okay.
we're on there throwing some stuff in, and I just let go of everything. And I said, this is what I want, And so I guess they're typing the whole time. And do you know, Chat GPT spit out this, unleash her.
There you go.
And I was like, oh, that's it. And I was like, but I'm not her yet.
Oh, but you're unleashing it.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. So it took almost a year for really to become here, which now I know I'll continue to grow and let this come out and the authentic part of myself. But it takes time.
Yes.
It takes time. It takes growth. It takes, what do I want?
It takes courage too.
And courage.
And sometimes what we want is not what we need. And so what we want is not what we want. And so
Yeah.
then you stepped back and you said, okay, well, I'm just going to let go. That's part of, like meditating or affirming or
Yeah.
breathing, silence. These are all things I'm still not. I'm still like I meditate every morning, probably 45 minutes.
You do? You
Yeah,
can quiet your mind.
I don't know if my mind's totally quiet. I mean, I
Right.
think my mind is probably my mind, but I think one of the things I try to do is if I notice something, I don't allow it to destroy it. And I try different
Yeah.
meditations, like I'll try daily calms, I'll try.
Mhm.
I have one that's being written for me right now. Dana's writing a meditation for me. I said to, he's going to give it to me, and he's going to have it recorded for me. Everything about me, my want, brand, all that's going to be in the voice, and I'm going to listen to it every morning for like 30 minutes. And so it's a narrative I'm going to just hear.
I have a couple of meditations out. Very short ones. Because 3 and 5 minutes.
That's still good.
We got to start there.
People have to start at least at 5 to 10 minutes because
Uh-huh.
they'll start to
Mhm.
like freak out about, no, I gotta sit still. And
Oh gosh.
sometimes I'll sit there and then there's a table in front of me and I work out a lot. I'll stretch my legs out. Well, sorry, bam. I'll stretch my legs out just to stretch, and I'll stretch during the meditation, or I'll lean like this. Like,
Yeah.
that's not meditating. I go, well, yeah, it is. It almost
Hmm.
is meditation. My
Right.
body is stretching, and so yeah, I mean,
That's it. It's whatever you want it to be. My meditation now is taking a walk down to the river.
yeah, I mean, it's sometimes I meditate in the car. You're like, close your eyes. I go, no, I don't close my eyes.
Yeah.
It's actually a great place to meditate because people are nuts on the road. So you're just like, and so you're kind of like learning how to like
Yeah.
traffic. So it's
Yes.
better than marijuana. I used to do that. So that's back in the day, not yesterday, not
Yeah.
now. I'm not doing any tonight, guys. Okay, I'm a therapist. I don't all this stuff. All right.
Wow. So it's all coming together.
All coming back to me now.
Yeah. Everything is coming together for you. I'm so proud of you. You're welcome. Yeah. Because we've been kind of talking for the past, year or two, I think, and
Yeah,
just
yeah. We
watching.
back and
Yep.
forth watching
It's
each other.
been a long time.
It is. It feels like it hasn't, but it is. Like I remember the first time I met you, I was like, or I talked to you. It was like a Chinese restaurant. Hell, it was a Chinese restaurant, and I was like, this is Rebecca. I like her. She's cool. Like, and like I forgot the time, and I got to call her and apologize, and so yeah, and we haven't really talked, but we see each other on
Mhm.
Facebook, going back and forth. So yeah, just,
Yeah.
just gotta
Yeah.
keep the peace, keep the peace, keep the pace.
Is there anything else that you would like to share? Is there anything you would like to share? Any last words? Um anything that you want to share with others about how you can help them and how they can
Uh,
reach out to you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can reach out to me. You can go on Facebook and reach out to me at the RCG group. I have uh, I have a couple of places you can reach out to me on Facebook. That's a counseling site you can reach out to me. Then I also have my entrepreneurial site that is helping athletes and entrepreneurs get away from the grind. So if you're an entrepreneur, business owner, don't be naive and think you don't need help. If you need help, just reach out. There's different programs I have. The Paradigm Project, where we can break it up into small videos and courses, um, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, things like that. I also can do therapy. If you're in the state of Virginia and you hear this, you can always reach out to me. I'm on Psychology Today. You can find me there. But I think the big thing I want to share with people is I think people they give up too easily and they quit. And what I mean by that is I don't mean you work harder. You don't think about what you want.
Mhm.
And I think if I can tell you any message, you need help doing that sometimes. You need people around you that can help you, that can guide you, that can help you kind of challenge yourself. Two things: persistence doesn't just happen, you have to do it. And the second thing is you have to want to realize that something new is okay. And that's the two things I think that people just don't see the beauty of. They just want to stay in their same old cliche. It's like Groundhog Day. So give yourself the ability to realize that new is good. And once you do that, move towards persistence and
Yeah.
get help. Talk to
Yeah.
somebody. Talk to somebody. I don't mean help like victimization. I mean help. Get help. So that's it.
I love it. I love that. I totally agree. And that was like finding my authentic self. And I said, I'm going to tell you one thing. I am not that day that I go to heaven, I'm not going to say, like, all right, this is it. This was it. and and God's going to say, you didn't ask.
Ask, seek.
You didn't ask. You didn't think that you could have those things. You didn't feel worthy or whatever it may be.
Or people told you you're not supposed to because you're supposed to be sacrificial. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. And seriously, and I went into Bob Proctor's program because I wanted and needed more money. Or I thought that's what it was. And I went in there and I found myself. And there is nothing better in this world
No,
than
and
finding.
that's really what he teaches. We just think it's all about money. It's not really about money at all. It's
Oh,
People are like, it's about money. He's a scumbag. I'm like, number one, he's dead. So don't call him a scumbag.
yep.
Number two, you haven't
Yeah.
studied him. So how do you know? And number three,
Mhm.
do you know who Earl Nightingale is? Like, go back and look at what Earl Nightingale was. You know, he was on the World War II USS Arizona when it got bombed in Pearl Harbor. Earl Nightingale, his boss, Bob's boss, who he started working for the something.
Yeah.
Earl Nightingale was a Marine on the USS Arizona. He survived that. 24
Okay.
Marines died on that boat. That was the one.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
Yes.
people don't
He was.
realize that he was this Marine guy who saw
Yeah.
life with these, and that's what Bob connected to. That's why Bob wanted to work for this guy so much.
Wow.
Got him
Interesting.
obsessed with all light. So
Oh, that is amazing. Oh my gosh. Bob was like, whew, he wanted to get his point across. You
he
would,
was tough. He was tough. He was tough. He was tough. Alba told me he was tough. She's like, this man is tough. She said that. He's like, she's
I
from,
was like, I'm a little scared.
yeah,
He was such a softie, but he had to get a point across.
he's just trying to get people to listen.
Yes. Yeah.
And they did. They did. A lot of them did. A lot of them did.
I, we are so fortunate
We
to
are.
have studied under him because we were some of his last students.
We were.
And
We were. We
yeah,
were some of his last students, and he passed. He
I
passed on
was in his program when he
passed on
passed
my birthday.
away.
He passed on my birthday.
Oh,
Yeah, he passed on my birthday.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember. I'll never forget it. February 4th.
Oh, wow. So, oh, God bless you, Bob. Man, what? Okay. And wow. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Seriously.
Yeah,
All
that's how
right,
you
guys.
do it.
Now, listen, we are going to have all this information too, all of Ryan's information, so you can reach out to him. Um, and you can reach out to me too as well if you resonate with me and want to know more about my coaching too. And I like to leave, with see my grandma. The one thing I remember about her is that she never said goodbye. She was not like goodbye. She was either I don't know if she didn't like goodbyes or what, but I like to leave my podcast with how my grandma used to always leave us. And instead of goodbye, I like to say, so long. So there you go. Of course, hey, I can't